That is true.
And if you get cold, you can take my jacket.
You're welcome.
Good to see you all. Oh.
No, I think everybody did. The wave room,
Can we take our mask off?
you can in this room.
We can?
Welcome, yes, we'll leave it. We're part of the party, it's just gonna be three of us, and so we'll leave the door open for circulation. I'm Aaron Long, nice to finally meet you. I've
You
talked to you.
too.
Never physically met you, yes. Nice to meet you.
Yeah. All right, well, I'm taking mine off, so I can drink water.
All right,
And I will sit back here and have my, so who did all of this?
the computer center.
This is great.
Good.
Yeah.
7-day weekends. Oh, I'm jealous. I am happy.
Oh, they found one with black hair, good.
Yeah. You look so young in that picture.
That was in your younger days. I wonder what year that was, Andy.
That was definitely.
That looks like one of the Bienville Club after the MDS conversion.
Andy's looking at one of the post. All right. Well, welcome. This is for Mr. Andy Lightmon's retirement. After 37 and a half years, we've come together. We're gonna welcome you guys. I'll turn it over to Travis.
Good morning, Andy. Good to see you again.
Good to see you. And I see Faisal on the road even.
Hello, Andy.
Hello, Faisal.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, Andy, I'm sorry we couldn't have a in-person meeting. I think it's deserved, but I hope that you enjoyed us. Part of what we did is we wanted to reach out to people who you've interacted with in your few years, very short time here at South. And the first group of people that we spoke to had some very good things to say about you. So I'll let that start for themselves.
Hey man, hate that we couldn't all be together to celebrate your big day, but glad that your work colleagues reached out and helped arrange this so that we could at least send some videos and have a Zoom party or whatever. I tried to think of a cool place to take this video, and I don't really have one, so instead you just got me in front of a dying ass plant, but it is what it is. I'm glad that you're finally pulling the trigger. This is exciting stuff. As you know, I've always kind of pushed and wanted you to retire, especially a little bit earlier than you've actually decided to. But frankly, I'm a little surprised because I kind of assumed that this was one of the things that you would always delay because you were too chicken shit to actually do it. But I'm glad to be wrong on this one. I'm glad that this stage of your life is over, and it seems like the next stage is basically just putzing around in boats, which seems like a gigantic upgrade to me at least. So with that, I hope that you have a good day. I hope the Zoom party and all that stuff goes well, and people give you a good ribbon. And I'm looking forward to being back down in Mobile here in just a couple weeks, and drinking a little bit too much and celebrating like we should be doing today. But anyway, I love you. I'm proud of you. I'm very glad that you're my father. You have been a role model, and all those other very nice accolade-y things that I should say. So anyway, looking forward to seeing you. Love you. Have a good day. Bye.
Wow, I cannot believe it is finally happening. You have talked about retiring for several years, and now it's almost here. I don't worry about what you're going to do once you retire because of all of your interests and hobbies. We already have 5 boats, a power boat, a sailboat, 3 kayaks, and yet you're already ordering plans and materials for the boat you want to build. We can never have enough boats. Also, your interest in photography. We're not going to build a darkroom. But you are so used to change by working in the computer field that I don't worry about the change you're fixing to undertake. I know you will seize it, enjoy it, and find other challenges. I'm so proud of you, and I look forward to this next journey as we continue down the road looking for that ultimate blueberry cobbler.
Well, Andy, it was really good to talk to your family and to get their opinions. It's nice to see your son. I've heard so much about him. I've seen pictures when he was a little bit smaller, younger than that, maybe on a boat or two. And we just felt that they were the first group of people that you should hear from, because I think that they're the ones who've really allowed us to spend the time with you that you've spent with us. So thank you. And Wendy, thank you for working with me on getting the videos and everything. So they weren't the only ones who had something to say. And like you were concerned that this was going to be a roast or a ribbing, and I tried very hard to get people to do that, but they just would not let that happen. So we asked a group of people, other people, to give us one word that would describe you, Andy. And so we'd like to kind of share what they had to say about it. So give me a moment to get everything set up.
Like Chrissy's picture.
Oh, with that.
Andy, I want to take just a minute and wish you the absolute very best in retirement. I've been around this place a long, long time, and when I look at how long you've been here, you've got me by a decade, so you have really been here a long time. That there are a few people that when you think out of South Alabama, that's who you think of, and you're certainly in that category. You'll be missed for who you are and for the work that you've done. But I'll tell you, one of my favorite memories of you has nothing to do with South Alabama, but it has to do with Cub Scouts. When my son was going up through Cub Scouts, I remember going to a meeting one time at St. Paul's, and you were there, and it ended with you taking an arrow and breaking it over your knee. I thought that was pretty bizarre at the time. But it's something, it is a memory that stuck with me for a long time now. So, but again, thank you for what you have done, and I wish you the best.
What word or phrase do I think of when I think of Andy Lightbourn? I have to be fire the student. This comes from a story that he's told that involves an administrator or a faculty member that had an old machine that was giving them problems, so they wanted to replace it, which was fine. And they were going to take the old machine and give it to their student assistant. Well, Andy kind of looked at the situation and thought about it. And instead of going through all the rigmarole, setting up a new machine, getting the student settled into it, why don't we just fire the student instead? Student won't be able to do their work on a machine with known problems. Just kind of points to a different way that he has of looking at things, possibly a little bit more pragmatic, different philosophy than some that I've come to appreciate over the years.
Thank you, Andy, for being a friend, an amazing colleague, and just fun to work with. Enjoy your retirement.
Andy already knows the word I will use to describe him: sailor. Years ago, many decades, when I first moved to Mobile, we bought a sailboat. I grew up sailing sunfishes all my life, but I knew better than to try to sail the bay with no experience. And Andy stepped up and said, "I'll teach you." And so went out first time, gorgeous sunny day with lovely wind, and we hung on every word, especially the part about not going into the shallow end of the bay. So you guessed it, Andy directed us right to a mud flat, and we got stuck. And his answer was, "See, this is what I wanted to teach you." And so, Andy, for the rest of your retirement, I wish you nothing but smooth sailing and no more mud flats. Take care. Bye.
I would describe Andy Lightbourn as the phrase that best describes him is quiet intelligence in a modest way. He's a bright guy, but he never tried to, talk over your head or anything. He took pity on us poor people who weren't that smart.
If I had to use one word to describe Andy Lightbourn, that word would be, hold on. Sorry, that was my timesheet or sprinkler system. or something. That word would be brilliant. And not just because Andy's intelligent. Andy's brilliant as a person, a manager, and a friend. He has set the bar very high. When I retire, before 39 years, I hope that I'm half as brilliant as he is. Andy, congratulations. You'll be missed. And enjoy retirement.
Hey Andy, it's good to hear that you're retiring. I know that you've experienced many of the same things I have professionally, where we may have started with a 80 by 80 card index with chips, and now we've developed into what we've got now. If you remember, we had that IBM 40 was a 64K machine, took up 50 by 50 room. And the greatest thing about our profession that I enjoyed was watching it develop over time. And at the university, it's even better because you've got the development going on too. So you have, many cases, they hand in that development. I remember you coming aboard, and we were stationed in the north end of the admin building in the basement. Your office was right next to mine. I really enjoyed meeting you and learning about you professionally. But personally also, you really impressed me because I don't think I've ever seen you mad. And that's a big thing. Your intellectual level and your communication skills were fabulous to communicate with. It's always a joy to sit down with you and talk about different topics. Now that you're retiring, I have but one thing to say. Hoist the mainsail and pop the spinnaker, and when you're in port, wear your mask. And we'll see you at the next port, Captain.
Andy. Sorry about that. Thank you so much. So Aaron, if you don't mind, take over.
No problem at all. Well, what I was going to do, since we got a little time, Andy, after seeing a couple of the videos, give you an opportunity to say anything that you wanted to say about those. You don't have to if you don't want. That's another thing going on here.
Well, I wasn't sure what the progression was, and handing a mic to me is a dangerous thing to do because, as y'all know, I'm inclined to discourse, usually with footnotes and peregrinations into historic matters. So I'll do that. I did have a couple of brief things I was going to say along the way, but if you had some other things other people were saying at this point, I can hold them. But I do appreciate the kind words so far. Or if you like, I'll go ahead.
Well, I'm going to actually give people a chance to say, limit to like 15, 20 seconds. Say what they would like to say.
Well, why don't you do that, and then I'll come back in with a brief comment or two.
Okay. What I'm going to do in 1 second is I'll ask people to see who it is. All right. So if anyone would like to just say a word.
I'll raise my hand. Andy, it's been a pleasure and an honor to work with you. You've been a great positive influence on me personally and professionally, and I really appreciate that. You're one of the smartest people I know, smartest people I've worked with, and you're just a tremendously impressive as a person. And so I appreciate the opportunity that I've had to work with you.
The feelings are reciprocated.
Hey, Andy. Obviously want to thank you for all your dedication and work and everything you've done for the institution and Computer Center. You will never be replaced. You will always be missed. And I didn't get that answer the word, but my word would have been to describe you brilliant. I've known a lot of people, come through a lot of people here, and you're definitely one of the most intelligent person that I have met and have enjoyed working with you, and feel that I have grown quite a bit just working with you day to day. So thank you again.
Andy, I want to hear the story about the mud flat.
Well, we can go through that. I got absent-minded. We're going out the Dog River Channel, and there's a famous area there called Judson's Cut. And if you push the area there in Judson's Cut, you'll find you've gone from about 4.5 to 5 feet of water into 2 in a heartbeat. And we got talking, and I just quit paying attention because I fell into that pattern I sometimes do of assuming everybody else that I'm with happens to know the channel, which is true of most people. So lo and behold, we did. I did take advantage of that sometimes back. There was a fellow named Carlos Navia who worked in the old not the ICL, I'm going to use another term, but the old College of Medicine Compute Lab. And Carlos was also a sailor and a member of the Alba Club where I am. And one day I went out and I was ahead of him in my, at the time, had a 23-foot San Juan, which was a centerboard boat. And he was coming behind me with a fixed keel boat that drew about 4.5 feet. And we fell into one of those impromptu races. And I started heading off and up, and I sort of inched up to Judson's Cut and kept going up until I could feel the centerboard sort of going pop, 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 pulled it up a little bit, moved ahead, he ran aground, and I took off again when I raised the centerboard up. So I used it to good advantage of that. By the way, it was on a rising tide, so anyone can get stuck for very long. But anyway, that's how that one happened. She can fill in more details. More occurred in the process of getting off the mud flat, but that's another story.
Well, Andy, I was something. I'm over here, which is cool. You can see me in both places. I'd like to thank you for all you've done. You've actually been my boss the entire time I've been here. So 16 years I've worked with you for you, and it's been a pleasure. I appreciate all you've done. You've basically taken me under your wing, and you've been a great mentor. I appreciate it, and also a good friend. I enjoyed our working hours and lateness and early discussions. But thank you for everything.
I have to second all of that, Andy, in that it's been wonderful to work with you in our department. We've had a lot of conversations, and you've been a great support for our web services and for our whole team. And for me personally, all through the years, I've worked directly for you the majority of the time that I've been on campus. And you've just been a great boss and a great mentor to all of us, and to me particularly. Thank you.
Andy, this is Raj. So I changed my background, if you can see the background that I have, but you can't take a boat there, but you know, when international travel is allowed again, if you haven't made it, definitely come to India and see the Taj Mahal. It is actually really is worth seeing, one of the 7 wonders of the world. And so, yeah, that's just wanted to put that. And I haven't known you as long as some of the people who are on this call, but in the 5 years I've been at South, I do appreciate your support on our University Committee of Teaching and Learning. And, you know, as somebody who is old enough to have actually used punch cards, on my first programming class, you know, it's something I know you and I shared, that as I've tried to remake the ILC with various new initiatives, really appreciated your support through all of that and providing us that historical context of where things have been and how things should go, which has really made it easier to push some of these things through. So enjoy your retirement.
All right. That's it. We will turn it over to the last portion of our videos. Travis.
Sure. So as you can imagine, as people have said here and had a chance to say it, we really appreciate all that you've done as a computer center. So we just wanted to all take a moment and take time to say thank you for what you've done to us.
Andy, congratulations and thank you.
Thank you, Andy, for being you.
Hey, Andy, congratulations on your retirement. Gonna miss you not having our walks together. I'm sure we're gonna run each other soon. Talk to you later.
Hey, Andy, thanks for everything you did around here. Hope the next time we try to reach out to you, you're somewhere lost in the Mediterranean. Good luck.
Hey, Andy. Just want to say thanks for everything you've done for me in the past, and that I hope you enjoy your retirement. Thanks.
Congratulations on your retirement. I'm jealous, and we're going to miss you. Thanks for all you've done for USA.
Thank you, Andy. Happy retirement. Godspeed, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
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 Thank you, Andy.
Thank you for all the help that you've given the computer center, the help you've given me.
Thank you, Andy.
Andy, thank you for 40 years of dedicated service to the University of South Alabama.
Thank you, Mr. Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Hey, Andy. Congratulations on your retirement. You're already missed.
Thank you, Andy.
Congratulations, Andy. Have a happy retirement.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Congratulations, Andy.
Thank you, Andy.
Congratulations, Andy. You made it.
Thank you, Andy.
Andy, happy retirement.
Thank you, Andy, for being a friend, an amazing colleague, and just fun to work with. Enjoy your retirement.
Congratulations, Andy.
Andy, I've been retired about 6 years, and I want to thank you for all the years that you served. I know it's been a long, long time, but good luck to you, and I hope you enjoy retirement like I do.
Andy, it's David. Just wanted to say congratulations on your retirement. It's been an honor and a pleasure working with you for the last 27 years. Hope you enjoy your retirement and you take care.
Andy, I realize you've been here for 39 and a half years. That's amazing. You've been an extremely valued employee, and we really appreciate your service as Director of Academic Computing. Thank you. We will miss you, but good luck to you in retirement.
Andy, congratulations.
Sorry about that. Of course, it's gonna there. So Andy, just wanted to give the floor back to you and give you an opportunity to share with us some more.
Good. Well, thank you first.
I've got something to share.
Mark, how are you? It's Information Security.
I'm good. Andy, you've helped me out a lot. We've shared a lot of laughs, and I enjoy coming into your office and seeing all the computer books from 1980. It makes me feel good. You know, I remember the VAX. I remember Solaris. And I don't do this often, but I did. We share a love of music, Andy. We both talk about music, so there's a song I want to share with you, group. A song by Good Riddance. It's called Time of Your Life. So I'll just do the first verse. Another turning point, a fork stuck in the road. Time grabs you by the wrist, directs you where you go. Don't make the best of this test and don't ask why. It's not a question, but a lesson learned in time. It's something unpredictable. In the end, it's right. I hope you have the time of your life. Good luck, Andy.
All right. Thank you, Mark. Okay, all right. Well, like I say, y'all taking a chance, turning the mic over to me. I was wondering what might show up in this presentation, and I'm reminded of something that Edward Phelps said to me that stuck in my head. One time he asked me a question about a system or something, and I went ahead and responded. And then after I was done, I said, I hope that wasn't too much. And he looked at me and he said, Andy, if I wanted a short answer, I wouldn't have asked you. So, but I'm going to try to be brief in this one. I was having fun going through some notes, and I'm going to leave these old books here. And I was looking at some highlights. I had y'all probably can't see it, that when I was mucking things out, a fall 1982 computer book about this new gadget called an IBM PC. not a single hard drive in the book. I found in summer of '91, we had this marvelous magazine we put out. The hot ticket item with 2 full pages was WordPerfect 5.1, why upgrade? Amazing. In 1990-91, we had an article about BitNet. That's when we had a mighty 19,200 bit per second communication flow for transporting information. No internet in sight. Back in a fun one in the summer of '87, we introduced a whole new bunch of PS2 computers, and those had 3.5-inch floppies, no hard disks. Amazing stuff. And some records back when the IBM mainframe was a mighty 8 megabytes of RAM, user space was a full megabyte, and we had 5 disks with 300 megabytes of storage. The same year, the high-speed modems were 1,200 baud. For those of you who are remember the numbers, that's 120 bits a second. The amazing, let's see, I think the university webpage would take about an hour and a half to download on that kind of speed. It's amazing how the stuff has changed, and yet some of the pieces are the same. I did bring some props. I have my punch card. And back from when I taught computer science some in the 80s, my chalk marker, which I can't find any place I can use these days. So we had those. So I know enough not to try to thank everybody by name, because when you start down that road, you're going to forget somebody really important. There are a few names I want to bring up now. And there are some of them my family, you may know. My sister Leslie, who is in from Florida, my baby sister.
There she is. You see her?
Yes,
she's a model for retirement. After a long career in psychology and education at the college level and working and keeping schools honest in a State Department of Education, and she jumped right into volunteer work. She's always been volunteering, just kind of a never-ending cycle of jobs or dogs she takes for hospice visitations, Comrades of Courage in courtrooms, visitation to retirement homes, lots of other volunteer stuff. And my older brother Jim, who is not able to get in on this, he's similarly after a long career in academics. He's one of these high intensity volunteers. We got it all from our mother, I think, who was the same way. And I'm glad Leslie's there. My son, John, who is has a much more direct way of speaking than I sometimes do, as you'll notice, of whom we're immensely proud. I'm glad you could join us, Counselor. We're proud for his academic achievements. We're proud for his the beginnings of a very promising career. I think we're most proud that he's carried on and what he's learned from his grandparents to do it all with honor and with integrity and charity and consideration for others. So it's a good legacy, and I'm glad to see it in him, and very proud he could join us. And then there's Wendy, a woman of many hats, corporate controller, financial wizard, landscape designer, gardener. She tells me that I am going to, she's looking forward to a year of having a house husband. So I'm a little apprehensive about what that means. I'm looking forward to it. By the way, lurking behind Leslie at one point was her wonderful husband, Frank, who is probably going to be the last of our cadre to retire. I'm just amazed he's retiring before he's 100. An academician and architect. Well, Wendy June is, of course, she's my rock. She's a foundation. She's the love of my life. She's a source of a huge amount of joy and beauty in my life. I don't know what I'd do without her. So I'm glad she could be here. I want to name a few people from Computer Center history, but I'm not going to go into this long. I want to talk about 2 people who passed, and that is Gordon Moulton and David Blau, who hired me in 1981 and were supportive for those years. And without them, I wouldn't have been here. And I'm going to name one other person, Chris Cannon, because Chris has been so helpful and gracious to me in these last few years. I hope that I was helpful to him as a director, and I can't think of anybody who would have been more helpful in moving along. Now, if I start trying to do other names, I'm going to miss somebody important, and it's really going to embarrass me. but I'm going to make a couple observations about this organization. Why it's kind of hard to leave in a way. There's an old joke that the thickness of a procedure manual for an organization is often inversely proportional to the degree of trust. But we don't have real thick procedure manuals around here. We probably need to do more documentation, but that's a different story. We've got people who are collegial, who work so well together. If you look at a university, everything that happens here depends on everybody working. I think from the folks who pick up the trash and keep the yards beautiful for our grounds up through the president, all the faculty, students, of course, we all need them. And in the computer center, I think of all the people who make it work. I think of the tech services folks. I think of telecom. I think of networking. I think of the systems people. I think of the people who are on the front lines and user support. I think of the banner folks who keep those core systems moving and also help keep departments in continuity. I think of the people who process the paperwork so we can order stuff, unload products. It just goes on and on and on. And the facts here, there are some people who hear me rant. I don't like the term family for organizations because I think family is different and equally important is community. And I would say the thing about the computer center is community. It's collegiality, if we're going to use these. It's cordiality. It's cooperation. And that's why and how the computer center works. And that is a great thing. I know y'all going to continue it. The old joke about having a lot of institutional knowledge. Well, I'm going to go out the door. Y'all going to build your other institutional knowledge. For those of you who are coming a little close along after me, just remember if you coordinate well, you can make up your own history. Just make sure you don't contradict each other because there's not going to be anybody else around who can tell otherwise. So keep that in mind. But I very much appreciate you doing this. I appreciate y'all being so gentle. I was fully expecting y'all to drag out stuff. I'm glad most of it's forgotten, and I'm glad the statute of limitations is over. On that note, thank you so much.
All right. Thank you all. So at this point, I'm going to give you a gift from the computer center among a few other gifts. This is right, Kelly? All right. This is from the computer center. Here.
Is there a challenge in opening it?
No Japanese colors included.
I'll let Wendy assist by opening it while I open the card.
Okay. Card is secondary. Card is secondary. Good.
They don't make them like you anymore. Actually, they never did. One of a kind. That may be a blessing in a lot of ways too. Computer Services Center. Thank you.
Noble South.
Oh, a gift card to the Noble South, one of our favorite places. Southern National, another favorite. Y'all are psychic. How do you know this? Somebody's been listening.
Read it out for us.
This conference room dedicated to Andy Lightbourn for his 39 years of service. Well, thank you.
This conference room is now dedicated. It's the first dedicated
Well, that is a
room.
very kind thing. This, by the way, was the first PC lab. There was an Apple lab in education, but I think this was the first PC, not the first PC lab on campus. It was the second, but the first one in the computer center. Yeah. Conference room is much better use at this stage. Thank you. Thank you very much.
If y'all would like, we can allow him to open the gift. It's up to you guys. We have time. If that's good, all right.
What, want to do that way or we get another? Okay.
I'll just bring it to you.
Paper.
Oh, my word. I forgot to read the bottom line. Somebody remembered. I wonder who said this. Lead with your problem.
I like that basket.
Yeah.
Oh.
Uh-huh. Farzam.
Way to go.
Let's see, a good Belgian triple.
Congratulations, Andy. I just wanted you, whenever you get home, to start the celebration immediately.
Well, Wendy's driving, so well, no, wait. Thank you so much. St. Bernardus. Thank you very much.
Of course, my friend.
We'll continue to discuss beers in the future.
Absolutely.
Let you open the first. And Morgan and Andrew, a card, thank you. They say don't. Since my sister is here, in our family, we tended to open packages very slowly, and it drove Wendy nuts.
Yeah.
The theory was to reuse the rest of the different times. Well, this one's a challenge now, and I didn't bring a bucket tonight.
I don't have one. Oh,
Does that work? So,
what lines I have in mind?
oh, one of my other favorites. How many systems programmers does it take to change a light bulb? Does anyone know the punchline?
0.
0, because it's a job for tech services. The people with whom we wouldn't have lights and power and equipment running and anything else. Come on.
I think they know what you
I
like.
think so.
It looks like you coordinated with Farzam. Thank you. Thank you.
That is great.
And there's one to get you started inside.
Man, they're really
Ooh, and you found some. Look at the rock.
very good.
My sister is also a beer aficionado. So,
Runs in the family.
this is one of their quads, the 9000. If you want to know any more about the Golden Dragon line, catch up with us. Thank you. Retired and admired, time of your life, enjoy the freedom you've earned it, happy retirement, from Richard Whipple, who is one of our academic computing programmers. And we hired him on after he was over 60, and it was a great hire because the guy just jumped right in. And he was one of the people who knew about punch cards, or could trade stories about old System 1620 and other computers.
Who's it from?
A very nice note from Patty Avinger reminiscing about how we would sometimes talk about sailing. And that she sailed on Mobile Bay and different things. I may need you again, Aaron. Come here. Probably probably a way to undo this, maybe by sliding it. Let's see what we can do. Yeah, well, it's tied in the knot back here. I have, that's what I was looking for. I thought, aha. There we go. Okay. Things already falling off the walls here.
It's going to take you a while to get through all the packaging, Andy. So I don't know if you want to take up all the time now.
Well, you know, Patty, you and I have been through an awful lot of long paperwork together, so why not? I have the advantage of slide bang going down that's English. Now, Patty may not have been aware of it, but we have some Sumrall paintings ourselves. And Blanchard B. Sumrall, as everybody knows her, is a local artist. And this is wonderful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you very much.
I'm so glad you know her. I love all of her local art.
Oh, yeah, we're very fond of it too. Really, thank you, Deb.
All right, that is pretty.
Oh, yes. She's already plotting where we're going to hang it. So
No scissors needed for this one.
you'll be surprised to know we have quite a few pictures of sailboats and things in our house. Come visit. You can see them. So it's Andyisms. March 11th, 1981, November 1st, 2020. Number one, lead with your problem. What's that?
Cameras in the front end.
The camera?
This is what we can see, yeah.
You want to take the platform?
No,
Then I can't read it.
read it. I want you to read it. Just,
Okay.
then you can talk that way.
2, there is no forest, there are only trees. 3, sometimes it isn't about right versus wrong, but rather right versus left. That's true. 4, don't just do something, stand there. 5, oh, this is a great truth. You cannot have an emergency on a system that does not have a support contract. 6, and this one for you, John. Wireless is superior to wired, John McMillan. Wireless is superior to wired in all areas except speed, security, and reliability. Number 7, far be it from me to get between you and your dean on a matter as important as budget. Number 8, wow, that's cheap. 9, do you have time for a 5-minute conversation? And the final line says, talking PhDs into submission for 39 years.
They forgot the wireless at Children's and Women's.
Oh,
Got the little message on the front there.
what's that?
I'm not sure that's who that's from. The message is on the front. Right there, in white.
I'm willing to guess I can get a pretty good idea who this is from, particularly since it looks like some duct tape. So
I needed to return it to you.
well, I got a replacement, but if you need some the next time you come by on the river, that'd be great. It's always 5 o'clock on retirement. So fine. Thank you, Chris. Much
Thank you.
appreciated. Much appreciated. You all very kind. Oh, and there's more.
And this is from your direct employees in the web services, Travis and Chris and
All those, and they're the people I, if not naming, I'd have to say, I used to tell them they're one of the reasons I didn't leave several years ago. If they hadn't been so nice and supportive to me, I would have bailed. A wonderful group of people. Yes. Oh, and then on the back of the plaque was from, I should have read it, I'm glad we found it, from Chris. I really enjoyed working with you these past 17 years. You've taught me more than I can say and shaped my entire professional life. Thanks for everything. Well, I have to say to Chris Heath, thank you for all the times that we got to talk through problems together. And I learned a lot from you. And it was our working together and jockeying around ideas that really improved things. And I really appreciated the time.
I'm really going to miss watching you tear into problems.
Yeah. I agree.
Well, and my sister's probably cringing watching me simply tear this beautiful wrapping paper apart. Oh.
Oh, they got
Yes. Okay. Hey, Leslie, we're having fun.
By the way, Chris, those are great views. I love the title.
Yeah.
We got it now. Oh, wow. Gorgeous.
It serves as twofold. One thing is, it is a retirement gift. The other thing is, it's seasonal. You can always remember when you left us.
Oh.
So it's this time of the year.
That's a good thing.
Wait.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
All right.
And I know some places that can go in the house.
That's right.
There, the mantle there would be.
That's right.
Yeah. Forget that.
What Aaron handed me the other, hand me that box back. I'm gonna put it back in that box. That is gorgeous.
A card which reads, some people make more than a career out of their work, they make a difference. Congratulations on your retirement. Andy, you truly made a difference in all our lives. Thank you. We will miss you, but wish you happy days and lots of smooth sailing. Your team upstairs, Kelly, Barbie, Farzam, Ian, Aaron, Chris Heath, Andrew, Travis, and Amy. Thank you.
Very sweet. Thank you.
That's very kind.
And on the wall, you can see them. That's from, see if I can direct the camera here. Of course, I go the wrong way. The very first card there with 00100.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Binary.
Yeah, binary. This is from from Travis's group.
Okay.
We ready? And this is from Logistics. That's the computer center's main group. This is from Aaron.
They're the people who keep things working.
Yes, definitely. That's from Aaron, and this is from Amy.
Oh,
So
sweet.
you can take all of it. And the signs are compliments.
But thank you. Now you cropped out the fact that that big picture there on the right where I'm in the funny red hat was one that was taken with Aaron and Julie Waldrop and me together. I want to say at the president's house.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, that's good.
And that's what the computer center looked like when you were somewhat hired. I don't know exactly year the top came in, but the lower one was actually taken this past month. So this was when so it hadn't changed a whole lot, but it's different.
And you know, one of the things that's kind of ironic is I was wondering, I thought that I probably would make the mainframe out the door. But I did, but it's not running anymore and I'm still moving, so I'm ahead of that. But thank you. Thank you all. Very kind. Appreciate that.
All right.
Great.
Well, we now would like to conclude. Very good. I'll get you back there. Anybody else want to say anything? We just want to say thank you, Andy, for everything that you've done. We really appreciate you.
Well, and it is a reciprocal thing, and y'all are certainly much appreciated. In fact, I thought for a minute I might just pull back the retirement, since this was such a good thing. But I don't think so.
All right, everyone.
John starts to cringe.
Beforehand, if no one else has anything to say, I would just like us all to give Andy a hand in appreciation all together, and I'll record it. But we thank you, Andy, for everything that you've done. All right.
Congratulations, Anthony.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. All right.
Goodbye, Freckles.
Thank you all again.